Hey everybody, what's going on to the inaugural edition of Rogue Entertainment Presents Collectable Past. Be sure to share the link out there. Make sure to let people know what we are doing and where we're at, because you know how YouTube likes to play the games. And of course, we're here with Vinny. What's going on, Vinny?
Hello, my brother. I'm happy that we're doing this finally. I think it should be a pretty good stream that we'll be doing in a new series. So I hope people like us talking toys as two guineas.
Yeah, man. There ain't nothing wrong with two guineas talking toys. And YouTube, make sure you pay attention. The guineas is spelled as you see right under my name, not the other way. So don't get it screwed up. And don't mess with our chat. I've seen what you did in those other chats, you bastards. Stop that.
Yeah. Oh, they've been nasty.
Yes, they have. But what's going on, Decepticon King? Wookiee supremacy in the house, Wookiee. I see Bear was through earlier. What up? What up? What up? So one of the things I was actually going through, I was going through some of the retro toys, and I know we're going to talk about some of the older toys coming up too, but this is the inaugural edition. We're just getting our feet wet in here. We're going to see how we're going to run things, you know, new show, new format, but possibly the same assholes that usually you see on every other stream. So it should go well. But I wanted to start out. I wanted to talk about a retro toy that I just recently picked up. Now, I mean, I know you guys, you know about the retro line that they got going for the Masters of the Universe, right?
Yeah, that's right.
These figures are pretty cool. Now, they actually got two, not like on the front of the package, they call it the retro edition, and on the back they say it's like Legends or something like that. But it's basically it's retro made He-Man toys, just like the old ones, but a whole lot more articulation.
Yeah. See, actually, when what do you call it, the Four Horsemen, when they originally got the license, that's one of the things they've been wanting to do for years, and they weren't able to do it, I guess, until more recently. Which I'm glad, because I think they look amazing. You know, you have it's the original aesthetic, but now they're more posable and stuff.
Yeah, you know, Decepticon King brings up something. He says, "Yo, the He-Man retro toy they made last year is in the clearance aisle." Okay, I could tell you exactly why they're in the clearance aisle. When the original He-Man toys came out in the 80s, now they actually started production in 81, but they didn't actually put them into the toy aisles until 82. And the first thing that they ran into as far as a problem is they didn't make enough He-Man and they didn't make enough Skeletor figures. So a lot of kids, when they were coming in, by the time they were seeing the cartoon, which wasn't until, what was that, late 82? By the time they came in with the cartoon, He-Man and Skeletor were nowhere to be found. Like, they were having a hard time finding these figures. This time around, they overproduced the He-Man and Skeletor. Like, when I was going out to these toy stores, filled to the brim with He-Man and Skeletor. Try finding Merman. Try finding any of the early ones like Evelyn, Tila, any of those. They were hard as shit to find because they overproduced the first two.
Yeah, I remember even as a kid, if we were going on a big car trip, or we'd be somewhere else in a different town or something, we try to hit the Toys R Us because they have different selection of things as well. Because you're right, those other figures were very rare and hard to get. Like, I remember we found one Skunkor, you know, and it was a little bit after too, because you know, like some of the toy lines started dying a little bit because of that. It was just He-Man and Skeletor everywhere. But yeah, man, you're right. It's crazy what they did.
Yeah, and like I went out and I actually wound up picking up two He-Mans, and I knew I was going to review at least one of them.
Right.
So I was like, well, I'll have one that I can open and I can wind up giving it away on the channel, since all I'm going to do is open it, show it off, and put it back in the package. Unfortunately, the person who won it was LDG Pixels, and he never sent me an email telling me where to send it to him. So, yeah, I reached out a couple times. He's not saying anything. So it's going to wind up going to the second person on the win list now at this point. Not my problem anymore. I asked, and I'm not chasing somebody down for their win. It's not going to happen. But yeah, like some of the other things that they overproduced is they overproduced the Battle Cat toy. That was another one. Like, I was seeing tons of those all over the place.
Yeah.
Dude. But like a lot of these other figures, like you don't see the overproduction that they did on the Masters of the Universe line, which is kind of sad. I mean, I think some toys they underproduce so much, and they've done the same thing like Ghostbusters and all the other ones. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's interesting how they decide on what figures are going to be like the big ones or the ones that are going to be the chase ones. Like we had these discussions when I worked at McFarlane, and they always wanted to shortchange the female figures, and I'm like, why? Like, oh, they're girl figures. Nobody buys girl figures. I said, are you people retarded? If you make them sexy, they'll sell. It's that simple. And like a few of the designs and stuff that we've worked on, I'm like, these are going to do well. You know, people want them. You need to up the production on them. Why are you going to showcase them? And then it's how they fit in like a case. So if you have a couple of figures that have like odd shapes or the bodies are too big, they'll mostly fill out the package, and then whatever they could squeeze in, they'll squeeze in like a slimmer figure, and it usually ends up being the girl figure. I'm like, that is the stupidest thing on the planet. Make it more balanced. You're going to sell more, you know? But
absolutely,
a lot of these people are just handicapped, I think.
Mentally handicapped. Yep. JP's Tabernacle. What's going on? Welcome, buddy. Thank you for coming. Make sure you share the stream out. YouTube hates us. They hate guineas.
Mm-hmm.
Not the type from overseas, but the ones that like originated from South America. Let's not get that messed up. YouTube, gotta keep reiterating that.
That's right.
But yeah, I've actually got a small clip of the one that I picked up. I'm going to play that for everybody right now, and we can. I want to see what you think about this toy, Vinny.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
All right, so we got him out of the package, and what does he come with? Well, obviously, he comes with the figure, comes with 2 different axes, an extra head, and a small direction sheet talking about the removable parts that are on there for swapping, and of course the comic book. It's pretty decent, so we're going to get into it and see how posable he is. So overall, this kind of reminds me of the original Ram Man a little bit. There are actually some pretty big differences, like number one, the plastic, of course. The plastic is nowhere near as hardcore as the ones were back in the day, and something looks just slightly different about the waist. And this one does seem to have the spring-powered legs. Unlike the original Ram Man, this one actually has a lot more posability in the arms. Of course, it's got the shoulder twist and then out. It's got the elbow joint, and this one actually bends pretty easy. Like, if you've seen some of the other Masters of the Universe ones I've done, some of the joints on them were either extremely stiff or extremely loose. This one is actually pretty decent. He's got a bit of a swivel right there at the wrist too. It almost seems like it does bend ever so slightly in. Not by a whole lot, but a little bit. He also has a knee bend and a twist as well. That is pretty interesting. Of course, the original Ram Man had nothing like that. He had no articulation whatsoever. He was pretty much a blocky figure, and I think the only thing his arms did was move a little bit like that. This one has actually got a slight amount head turn, but it looks kind of stupid with the helmet because it starts bending against his collars. All right, so we got the changes in. Obviously, he's got the other hand because the hand that it comes with for the left hand is just a closed fist. So now you got an open hand, and you actually put the second axe in there. We changed out the open-faced helm with the closed-faced helm. There is supposed to be one more playability factor as far as I could tell on this, and that looks like it has to do with the axe. And it looks like what you do is you put these two together.
So that's pretty much all that I had on that one. I really thought that the double-bladed axe design, like a double-bladed sword, was kind of stupid myself. It's an impractical weapon, and I know other people talked about it, like Shadiversity. I like to watch some of his stuff sometimes. He knows a lot about weapons, and I was on there, and he did a video about that specific weapon and said how stupid and impractical it was. Playability feature, nice, but Yeah, it looks kind of goofy with the figure. I don't know. What did you think about that one, Vinny?
Yeah, I agree on that. Figure looked pretty good for what it is, especially that they did like their updated version with the articulation. That's a tough one to do because he was so limited to begin with. But yeah, what they did with like the arms, that kind of articulation, it works. It makes sense for the figure. Like the legs, even like having the bendable knees there. I get what they're trying to do, but at the same time too, because they're still trying to use that mechanism. Like you're not going to get much out of it anyway. Like what you're going to kind of mimic like a slight walking pose, and then he'll topple over.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? It's like maybe sometimes. Well, again, with that line though, it is retro, so they're trying to keep like if it has like some kind of action thing like that, he's got the spring loaded. Like I know what they're going for, so that's fine. And for the people who are collecting it, I think the majority of people though they're actually keeping them in package, from what I've seen for the most part. You know, and they're like put it on the wall or something.
I picked up the Hordak one as well, and that was that came out this year as well, and it was the Hordak Buzzsaw Hordak figure, and he had the chest compartment where you flip the chest down and you push his cape on the back. The little buzzsaws, one at a time, you could fly him out of the chest. It worked. It wasn't enough to knock a figure over because I put the He-Man right in front of him, didn't knock it over, just bounced off and flung around the room somewhere, and I had a hard time finding it. But but they at least they incorporated the original playability. I mean, I thought it was cool too that one of the things that they did with this one as well as the He-Man and some of the other ones is they actually colored the bracers in, because if you remembered in the original ones, none of those bracers were ever colored in.
Yeah, because that's extra money, extra paint.
Yep.
They got to cut corners back then, especially at the rate that they were releasing these things.
Oh yeah.
Trying to keep up with the demand.
Well, they had them a year in advance. It was kind of funny since most of their product was pretty limited to the same basic core group of figure parts. It's kind of funny that it would take them a year to get through it. I see a few other people popped in the chat. I just want to say hi to them real quick before we continue. What's going on, Captain Trek? Welcome, buddy. Master of the TDS. What's going on? Darth Haster. What's up? Cotton Connection in the house. What's up, Snowdub?
What up?
But
great people.
Oh, and Immortal Coil. Immortal Coil is here. Usually when we do streams, I always miss Immortal because it's always too early. What's going on, Immortal?
Hail, brother.
Thank you all for coming. Make sure you share the stream out. Show some Guinea some love. But, I was actually pretty pleased with this one, even with the leg bend. I mean, it wasn't necessary. And the original figure didn't even have separate legs like this one did. The original one was just like a blocky two-leg post, pretty much, for him to do the bounce off of.
For sure. But like I said, just even adding a little bit, I think that's fine. It's good. Because, again, it's most people who, who are that age when they were collecting. Now they have kids, and like the retro line is kind of like perfect, and you could pass it over to the kids and be like, hey, yeah, these are the kind of toys I had, or you show them the original series, and trust me, most kids are gonna gravitate towards it regardless, because it was.
The only thing that kind of threw me off a little bit about it, I mean, besides the double-bladed axe thing, which I get it, extra playability, blah blah blah, but the extra helm. Like at first I was like, was that extra helm in the original, comics that came with the toy figures? I couldn't figure out where that closed helm design came from. And so I actually have a booklet. It's got all the original mini comics that came with all the figures. So I'm going through this book, looking at all the pictures of Ram Man, and nowhere in there is a closed-faced helm. And I know they didn't have it on the Filmation series. I was really confused where they came up with the closed-face helm design for it.
Yeah, it could have just been them trying to mess around, the designers, just to see what extras they could add to it. Which, again, you know what? It's fine. Even if it wasn't on any of the original stuff, if it's just an added thing, who's going to say no to an added accessory? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because even like that axe weapon thing, because they're trying to figure out what to do. Like if you don't want to have a weapon in both hands, well then okay, we'll do a little gimmick where we could attach them, and now it's like this really big cool battle axe, blah blah blah. Like they try to hype shit up a certain way just so it's like not an extra accessory is just laying somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I get it to a degree, but I mean, I think sometimes they overdo it. I mean, I think if they would have made the second axle a little bit shorter, so maybe the whole thing, if he's holding in his hand, it's not dragging on the ground. And I had that same complaint with Hasbro's Galvatron figure. His cannon was so large that if you put his arm straight down, it was dragging on the ground.
Oh, jeez. I figured we were talking He-Man. I'm like, I found a funny meme.
That'll be the Triple X version of He-Man that'll probably come out later this year in the retro line.
Right. Where's Killy Chow? This is the Axel Braun version. Oh shit.
What's going on, Shadow Hawk? Welcome.
What up,
Good
buddy?
to see you again.
Hello,
And Darth Haster. I had one of the old figures get snatched up by my cousin's dog and came out unscathed. I do not know if the new ones could survive the dog test. I am not 100% certain that they would. I mean, don't get me wrong; they're made well enough, and I don't feel like they would break if I dropped them. But the plastic doesn't feel as hardcore as those old ones. And JP says it's almost a full GI Joe articulation. Yeah, it's very close to it.
Yeah, they're getting better with that stuff. Have you seen like the ones from like the fucking Kevin Smith one? Have you seen those in stores?
I did see them. I didn't like the way they looked.
Yeah, some of them I think the designs work. Some of them look like shit. I saw, I think from the second series, they're not out, but we call it Man at Arms. Like the design on him looks really good. Like certain figures, like they look like they'll stand out, they'll be all right. But yeah, I think like the aesthetic that they had on that 2001 versions, I think a lot of those looked way better. Trap Jaw, Skeletor, they look so evil. The detail that was put into them, like that kind of shit is really impressive.
Well, the neat thing about that, it was actually a third-party company that actually picked up the He-Man figures and they started making them. And Hasbro Mattel rather had seen how well that they were doing with them that Mattel decided to run their own like Origins line themselves, and that's when you get that reboot around 2002. So, but if it wasn't for that third-party company, who knows? Might not have seen something that good. And I think the same thing happened with Hasbro as far as Transformers. They've seen these third-party companies making these amazing-looking Transformer toys, and they were like, we need to up our game. These third-party companies are not only outdoing us right now, they're underbidding us.
Yeah, it's really interesting how all this shit, how it ends up going. Because there's so many third-party figures. Like I get a lot of 1/6 scale stuff, and the third parties are absolutely mind-blowing. Some of the shit that they've been doing, like even the sculpting like of the likenesses like on certain characters. There is one company called Soso Toys or Susu Toys, however you pronounce it, and they're doing like their newest one that they did was the Robin from that Titan show. Like I haven't seen the show, but the figure looks incredible, and the likeness on the actual actor is like it's there. The way they did the material for the clothes, the articulation, like they're really going above and beyond. So it's funny that you brought up the third party, like with the He-Man shit, because they had it back then as well. They had the third party knockoffs where like they had like the animal heads on the regular He-Man body because they got the molds.
Yes. Yeah, well, it was the same thing with a lot of the companies that were doing the wrestling figures. They basically copied the same design that the He-Man figures had, and they started releasing that wrestling figures in the same vein.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely. Like look at this, man. That's the one from the 2001 line. There's your Ram Man compared to the one you just showed off. Like they tried to up it a little bit. But like, see something like this. I saw this guy in person as a 2-up before obviously they go to China and they do all the other shit to them. But like on the 2-up version, he had more articulation as well. And that's the thing. If the lines did really well and the cartoon did really well, they were going to release another version where they're hyper articulated, and they never got to that stage, which is disappointing because I really think that they did an amazing job. Like, look at this. Someone did like some kind of custom. Look how sick that is.
That looks pretty awesome.
Like the designs are there. They just needed to, you know, have a little bit more behind it. Like that's a sick fucking Skeletor, the way that they did him, you know. And he had the staff, he had the sword. The way they did it was great. What fucked them up, and I'm going to say this until the end, is this right here. The design of the sword was shit, and they couldn't nail down a good head for He-Man, you know. And that's what the problem was with all that stuff.
Well, it's the same thing with this retro line. The first He-Man that came out with the retro line, I think that first started in 2019. I think it was this retro line of He-Man figures, 2019, 2020, and 2021. And that first line when He-Man came out, that face looked nothing at all like the original figure. Nothing, not even close. It looked closer to the original cartoon, the Filmation cartoon. So what they did is, by the time they got around making battle damaged He-Man, they heard what the fans said, that it didn't look enough like the original, so they included a secondary head that looked more like the original figure. Yeah. And that's what some of these companies need to do. They need to pay attention to the people that are buying their products.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Like, that head is all wrong. That's the He-Man head. Like, it's not that difficult, I think, to grab it. Like, all right, so they had other versions. Like, that's good. This works.
If you could bring up the battle damage He-Man, battle armor damage He-Man, I would try to bring it up, but I think my stream might freeze on me.
From which one? The originals?
No, from the I think it was 2020 battle armor He-Man or battle damage He-Man. Yeah, because they'd released the one, remember, where the chest, he had the battle armor on, and if you hit the battle armor in the center of the chest, it would spin. Yeah, they did a retro one of that. And
it was retro, or it was in that style that I was just showing you?
It was in the retro. In the retro line.
Well, yeah, because I found that one, which is all wrong. Was this it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that face is terrible.
That's the 2-pack. The 2-pack had a different face, but they had a standalone one too. And he came with 2 heads, and the second head looked a lot more like the original toy.
Well, that's what, like you said, that's what they needed to do. Why would you get away from how he looked? That's an iconic, classic look right there. But again, like this all started as Conan figures anyway, and then they realized how violent the movie was, and then they tried to do something else with it. Yeah, Parrothead got it. Battle damage, He-Man. That's right. Thank you, Parrothead, and welcome. And Random Brad, what's going on, Random Brad? What up, guys? Just 2 Guineas talking toys here. Yeah, man, ain't nothing wrong with that. That's a pretty cool looking one too. Because again, it's a little bit. That's the classics line. That was the classics line. Because originally there was, like I said, there was another third-party company that was doing just like that. Then Hasbro decided, hey, they're making all this money. We need to release them too. Originally, the third party, though, they actually reached out, not to Hasbro, to Mattel. I don't know why I keep saying Hasbro. They reached out to Mattel, and they actually did get licensed to do their versions of them too. There he is, right there. Battle armor, yeah. And if you see, he's got the second head in there, in the package. Yep, that's pretty cool. See, that works. And they did the same thing with Skeletor. They made one that looked more like the toy, because when they released the retro version of it, the head doesn't look that much like the original toy. It looks similar, but it's not perfect. So they included another head that's supposed to be more like the original toy. So I love when they do shit like that, because they give those nods to the fans that are buying those things, the original fans. That's right. Put those extras in. Let people do what they want. You know, it's crazy because like a lot of times people just do customs because they can't get exactly what they want. Well, not only that, but then that gives money to the third-party companies that wind up making those things. And I know the Transformers had the same thing going on, because the original Transformers, the G1 versions of Ironhide and Ratchet, they were these square, blocky, mech-looking toys, because that's what they were originally supposed to be. The Transformers weren't supposed to be sentient robots when they were created in the Diaclone version. They were supposed to be mech suits.
That's why all the original ones have a driver's seat. So the original Ironhide and Ratchet, that window with that seat, that's where you were supposed to put the Diaclone figure, which are these teeny tiny little, like 3/4 of an inch tall figures with magnetic feet. You would sit them on that chair. So Hasbro took the cheap route, and they just put a sticker over top of the seat to say, okay, that's the face. So the third-party companies looked at it and said, well, that's not good enough. Here, we're going to make this little slide-on piece that goes over the back of the chair, and it actually gives you a head like you've seen in the cartoon for Ratchet and Ironhide. And they were cleaning up selling those things because they were selling just those tiny little heads, tiny little plastic heads with the sleeve that sat over the seat for over $15 to $20 a piece. And they were cleaning up on them because they were always getting sold out.
Yep. That's
what's going on, Curtis.
Even more recently too, man. A couple of years ago, I picked up a couple of amazing third-party Optimus Prime figures, Megatron. What else did I get? Like, I want to do reviews on them. They're pretty big though. But I was surprised because dude, like the price on them was really fair for what they are, and they were like hyper detailed, really amazingly custom paint jobs on them. And I'm like, how the fuck are they releasing these? You know? But yeah, I got to do a review on one of those. I got to dig it out of the closet.
Well, it's funny. A lot of those third party, and especially Transformers, because I was watching them early on, they were incredibly cheap. Incredibly cheap. Since then, oh, I know Decepticon King. I got to get to that. I'm so sorry. I keep promising to wrench Decepticon King, and I keep forgetting to go back and do that. Yeah, you know, I'm going to see if I can open up YouTube and not crash myself and do it now. Because I keep saying I'm going to do it, and I keep forgetting to do it, like a doofus. But but originally, they were extremely cheap, and I've seen recently that those prices on those things have been starting to come up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, because then they only do short runs. And then if you're looking for them again, it's going to be someone who's reselling them on eBay and shit like that. You know, because and it's funny too because they'll take like the famous ones, like what is it, the Optimus, the MP10, and then they blow them up. There's a process over there. I forgot what it was called, the process, but they could make things even bigger, and they do. And here's the funny thing: like if it had some kind of a problem in the transformation, usually the third parties will fix it and it'll become a superior product all around. Bigger, better paint job, more detail, and they correct whatever issues that the figure actually had. It's wild, man.
Well, I don't know. I heard that the company in the freaking Chinese company that was actually making the knockoffs of the Transformers, I heard they were doing something similar at first, even though the quality of the plastic was like trash on those things. But they've reproduced the box of the original G1. Now, granted, I think that they were doing them all illegally. But, they were reproducing all the original Transformers that you could remember. The old Optimus Prime, Megatron, you know, Starscream.
Oh, like they got the original mold, you mean?
Yeah, like they got copies of the original molds, and they were doing stuff to them to make them a little, you know, transform a little easier. But, of course, they were using cheaper plastic. So some people were actually picking them up and thinking they could take the parts off those and swap them out with their real Transformers, and they were finding that they didn't fit. Because obviously over time, you know how the molds, they stretch out a little bit and they're not the same way they were. What's going on, Citizen 333? Welcome, buddy.
Welcome.
But oh man, some of them looked good though. I was actually tempted a few times to get them because I was looking at an Optimus Prime that I could have picked up for like $15 to $20. Like the original with the full trailer and everything, not like the Walmart special where he's just a cab.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like because I'm looking on, like I just typed them in on eBay, just like Optimus Prime, and there's like so many different versions. What's the knockoff? What's an actual like legit product? And then like they usually give them different names though. I've noticed too. Or like all right, so like the studio version of Optimus Prime from like the Bumblebee movie, like that specific design that they did to him. Like that figure, they took it, they blew it up, and then they put even more detail in it, and like they selling it for like maybe $120 or some shit like that.
Yeah, I've seen that most of the ones that they have with the Bumblebee line, they've all incorporated into one line called the Buzzworthy Bumblebee brand of Transformers.
Oh, okay. The third party, you mean? Is what
No, I'm talking about Hasbro. Hasbro's done that now.
Okay. No, I thought
Yeah,
they were all
like-
just like I thought they were just like the studio, the studio series.
Well, there is a studio series, but they got two different studio series now too.
Oh,
They've got
wow.
the studio series for the movie, and
Uh-huh.
then they got the studio series for the '86 movie.
Oh shit.
The
Oh yeah,
'86
you're right.
movie is good as hell. I've picked up a few of them. I've had Scourge sitting in the back room. I got Scourge, Blur, I think Hot Rod. Damn, I got like 3 or 4 other ones. I got Grimlock. Grimlock comes with a little tiny wheelie figure. I've got all these movie figures sitting in the back that I've been meaning to review. But going through all the crates and just going through all the hassle of getting everything settled with the house and trying to sort through the crates, I never got back around to it.
Absolutely, man. I'm with you. I picked up Cup from that series, from the '86 one, and I found Wreck-Gar, the motorcycle dude.
I just picked him up recently too.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're nice, man. They're sturdy. The plastic's good on those things.
And the detail is incredible.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
they did follow the same pattern that they were doing with their Kingdom series.
Yeah.
They're very similar in design, so you could actually put the Scourge figure next to the Galvatron figure from the Kingdom series, and you wouldn't notice any size difference whatsoever. It would almost look like he belongs to part of that series, like the way they did it.
Yeah, I never found that Galvatron. Some of the other ones I was able to find like here and there, but yeah, that one couldn't find it anywhere. And like eBay, all they do is they rip you off left and right. So I try to avoid that. But like I said, if you find like again the third party ones, sometimes they do an even better job. So and a lot of times too, they're in pretty good scale with these things.
Yeah, and you know what? People that are fans of those type of franchises appreciate that kind of detail. The one thing I did have a problem is I felt like they overscaled Galvatron. Because I always felt Galvatron, even if he was a little bigger than the Megatron figure, they should have been a lot more comparable in size. The Galvatron figure stands almost a full head taller than Megatron. It felt like it felt like they oversized him just a bit. It looked a lot worse in the package though, Vinny, because when I got the package, the box is like, I put it next to the Megatron box, like this thing looks huge. Like I had it next to the Optimus Prime one too from Earthrise, who has his full trailer and everything in him.
Yeah.
And the full trailer is standing up in the box. So you figure the full length of that trailer, the Galvatron was even taller than that. I was like, holy shit, man. How big is this Galvatron figure? Turns out when I opened it up, there was a whole lot of space in the bottom of the box. And it actually, to me, when I did the review, it looked like Galvatron's legs were a little bit on the stumpy side, like they cut him short. Not to make him
I saw that review. Yeah, man, I saw that review. Yeah, that's the thing. I absolutely hated the Kingdom packaging because it hid most of the figures. You couldn't even see what the hell was really going on. And a lot of times, too, there's those people who fucking will steal pieces, and then they'll just they retape the box and leave it there on the fucking shelf. You know what I mean? Like how are you going to be able to see all that stuff? It's stupid. You should keep the window nice and clear so you can see what the hell's going on there. What's what? Yeah, I hated the Kingdom packaging. Just terrible shit.
Well,
terrible.
You see what they're doing now? When I picked up the Buzzworthy Bumblebee package, they actually they took out the plastic. So now it's just open cardboard, and they don't use the little plastic ties, the rubber plastic ties that they used to tie them down. Now they're just using like a string.
Yeah, it's horrible. They did it to the original release of the Earthrise Optimus. It was like a crisscross twine that was around them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why are they doing such weird shit? Like, it makes no sense. But yeah, taking the plastic off, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, it's all part of the Save the Earth stuff, blah blah. I'm not creative 22. What's going on, buddy? And Tim Possible is in the house. What's up, Tim? Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I want to hit off a couple of things that people were saying in the chat.
Right. Oh, before you do, when I said eat a dick, I was talking about Hasbro in there. Plastic shit. That's what I was referring to.
So ridiculous. Wookie says I didn't have any of it. I was Thundercats fan. Yeah, I brought a few of the Thundercats figures back too.
Yeah, Super 7, man, they've been killing it on those.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I only have, I think I have 1 or 2 of those. I picked up the Panthro.
You know what I've been looking for is I've been looking for the retro releases of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones. I have not been able to find them anywhere.
Yeah, they are impossible to find. The only thing I've seen in stores recently were the Super Shredder that just got released from NECA, but I'm not really seeing any of the retro shit.
Yeah, they're selling out so quick. Parrothead says back when Beast Wars was on, I got a third-party knockoff of T-Rex Megatron. Nice. Dude, and Citizen 333, when I was a kid, my best friend across the street had Castle Grayskull. I had Snake Mountain, and between the two of us, we had almost all the figures. We used to have epic wars. That's awesome.
Dude, that is awesome. See, okay, I found, this is a knockoff figure, and this thing looks killer.
What up, Slasher? There's my good buddy Slasher.
What up, Slasher? Oh, let me share screen real quick. So yeah, again, just taking a quick look, taking a quick gander, and look at this Galvatron. Dude, third party. That thing looks pretty amazing. Sick, right?
And see, like, look at the way the legs look on that. Like, compared to the one I reviewed, and it's not to say that Galvatron that I got from the Kingdom didn't look good. He did look good, but there were certain elements to him that looked completely off. Like, first off, the bottom half of his legs, the shins down, looked too short, and the damn cannon looked way too long for the entire figure. This one, they got everything in scale the way it should have been, which Hasbro should have did right from the gate.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. What is wrong with these people? Why do they do that shit? But that's what I mean. Like, you never know what you could find if you just kind of take a quick look around. And again, I just typed in it really quick. I'm not seeing a size on this stuff. That's the one thing that's a little that could throw you off though. But a lot of times they will give you the proper description. But yeah, and that's how I found like a couple of really cool pieces. Again, I gotta get them. I gotta review those things because I think people would really dig them. There was one. It was like a battle damaged Optimus Prime. That I think it was the MP10. Like they did their own thing with it. Like when they blew it up in scale, they did kind of their own articulation as well. The thing is absolutely killer.
I take it he's supposed to represent the '86 movie, like after the battle with Megatron.
I think so, or during it. But yeah, dude, yeah. If I find it, I'll definitely do a review on it. Well, I know where it is. It's hard to get right now. Because like you said, man, it's juggling a lot of stuff. I keep trying to get the toy reviews out there, but I'm also working on the comic book right now.
You know, sometimes those toy reviews take a minute. Sometimes they take forever. Like, especially if you keep getting interrupted when you're trying to do things and you keep knocking the figure over.
Yeah, I put mine on like the rotating base because I want to do like like a better presentation on that stuff too. Yeah, there's a lot of figures that just topple over. In some of my reviews too, you can even see like I have like a blue background that I put it on. You can see like lines all over the place. It's the figures falling and like their head or their elbow like scraping against it.
Nelson the Gentleman, what's going on? Welcome at Vinny Art. If I back Shadow of the Kraken, what assurance can you give me that I'll ever get it? I backed another comic last year, and me and many others never got it. Well, you know what, Nelson the Gentleman, before Vinny even says anything, I will tell you this. Vinny was telling me about his projects early on, and I went and I backed Shadow of the Kraken earlier. Then he said, well, we have these other books. I have these ones that are already, they're done. As soon as you order them, they're getting shipped out immediately. So I picked up Through the Woods, and I couldn't believe how fast I got it. And the presentation of the book inside the package, when I brought it out, it was in perfect shape. The artwork was fantastic, and the story was great. So I can tell you from my experience, yeah, if you're going to order with somebody, you're going to get a comic book and back somebody independent. Definitely back Vinny, back Red Gaze, back Nerium, who also does incredible work. And Chris Fisk, for what he's doing with Infinitail. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing him finish that off because he said he's getting ready to go into fulfillment, right?
Yeah, his book is done. He sent me a PDF already of it, Chris Fisk. So that book is ready to go as well. But I'll tell you right now, Nelson, I'm literally, they call me the fulfillment king. I've had 5 campaigns, all fulfilled. My very first campaign, I didn't hit goal because someone told me the wrong information, so my goal was too high, and I still fulfilled. I fulfilled a hardcover book, Through the Woods. So, you're definitely going to get your books. Plus, I keep doing updates with Shadow of the Kraken as well, so I keep people informed. My newest update, I showed you a time lapse on my inking process. I'm working on the last act of the book right now. So I still have, I don't want to say the page number yet, but it's the very last half of the book. So I'm doing pencils, inks, going back to finish up the colors and then the lettering. So right now I'm looking at early 2022 for Shadow of the Kraken. I just had a little bit of a delay, but this is the first project that's even slightly delayed. All my other ones I delivered on time or early. So yeah, out of everyone that's been doing crowdfunding the last couple of years, I am the most trusted. I can tell you that right now.
Awesome. I hope that answered everything for you, Nelson, the gentleman. Like I said, I wouldn't back him, and I wouldn't recommend him if I didn't believe in what he was doing. So, and I've seen his work for myself, so I can say without a doubt he's definitely worth the time to wait for his product. So, we also got Godzillionaire in the house. I'm partial to the fans, toys, and XTB third-party Transformers. I've seen some of them. They do look really good, but to me, it was always something about the original Transformers, like actually getting them from Hasbro. And I mean, I think that goes back to my original G1 days. Like, I still have a room filled with crates with the old stuff, the old G1 stuff, like they were saying earlier, like Megatron, Galvatron, Optimus Prime. I've got an incomplete Omega Supreme and an incomplete Metroplex, but I'm still trying to get all the rest of the pieces for them. But I got Jetfire, Shockwave, like almost all the original cars, all the original jets, most of the jets from the second series, if not all of them. I think I got all of them too. And a huge amount of the cars from the second series. And I think I may be missing 1 or 2 of the full-size cars. As far as the mini cars, I'm only missing a few of them. I think I'm missing Cosmos, and I'm missing the original Bumblebee, and I think that's it. I've got damn near all the rest of them. I even got what the hell's his name? I can't remember his name now. It's the Six Changer.
Oh shit, I can't remember his name either.
I always blank on his name for some reason because I didn't have that toy as a kid, and I didn't get it until much later on, so I always forget his name. No, it's not Six Gun. Six Gun actually came with Metroplex. He was like the pieces. Six Shot. There it is. Absolutely Godzillionaire. You got it on the second one.
There you go.
Yeah, duh. I don't worry. I felt the same way trying to remember it, and I fucking know almost everything about Transformers. So, Stories by Irish. How you doing, my dear? Welcome. It's good to see you. Isn't Through the Woods Walton's favorite? Yes, he actually got a hardwood edition of it, and he loves it. He sleeps with it.
You can see it in the background when he does his videos.
Jason Lee Tucker, what's going on? And welcome.
Welcome.
I might have some extra G1s if you're looking for something specific. Mostly what I'm looking for is I'm looking for parts, because that's how I built a lot of mine, Godzillionaire. My original collection, and this is a disgusting tale, but I used to have the original, like all the original ones when they first came out. I had Starscream, I had Jazz, I had Megatron, Ultra Magnus, the original Galvatron. I had all the original Constructicons, and I had them all with their original boxes, all their original blister packs and card backs.
Shit.
I had even the little like a plastic blister part for the card. I still had all that. What I would do is I would peel them up, pull the figure out, and leave just enough of that plastic attached to the cardboard so I wouldn't lose it. I had everything. All the paperwork for him, even the decal sheet, the backing for the decal sheet, even I kept those with the original figures. I had everything. They all got stolen. In the end, I lost something like close to, I think by today's standards, it's probably like $40,000, maybe even $50,000 worth of Transformers. But back then when they got stolen, it was about $8,000.
Damn.
So what I did is I got into buying old Transformers lots that were broken. I started repairing them to recreate a collection. And in the process of doing that, I wound up picking up so many extra parts that I wound up creating more figures. And then I wound up selling those. And I was doing that for a great number of years. So I wound up with maybe at one point I had like 5 or 6 Prowls. I had 2 or 3 Megatrons. I had about 5 Optimus Primes. I mean, it was ridiculous how many I had in the end with all the parts that I picked up. So usually, yeah, I'm just looking for like parts lots to finish everything out.
That's crazy, man. I am impressed of what Hasbro has been doing lately, for sure. Have you seen the core class, like the really tiny ones?
Yes. Some of them were neat. I don't really care for getting like the Optimus Prime and Megatron in the core class because it just doesn't really seem to fit. But some of the other ones that they're including with the core class, I really like. Like they did. Oh God, what was his name? He was from the Beast Wars. It was the little rat guy.
Rat Trap.
Rat Trap.
Yep.
Yeah, they did him in one of the core class figures. And I was like, man, that fits in line with the rest of the figures.
Oh, dude.
What's going on, JJ?
What up, JJ?
Oh, buddy, JJ.
Nice. Yeah, I had picked up a Soundwave from the core class. I'm like, this thing just looks cool. And you know what's funny? It fits in the 1/6 scale when he's transformed.
Yeah. Somebody else was saying that, and I was laughing my ass off. There was, oh God, it was one of the figures actually came with a mini version of his tape deck form.
Dude, yeah, it's impressive, man. It's impressive what they've been doing.
As a matter of fact, God, which figure was it? I don't remember if this was Soundwave or if it was like Starscream. I think it was Starscream. He came with a gun that was Megatron transformed into the gun form.
Yeah, that's some cool shit.
Just like with the Galvatron from the Kingdom series, even though there was issues with it, I did appreciate the fact that they put the chained matrix in there to put around his neck.
Yeah, that was cool. I'm glad they did that too. Yeah, well, that's it. You got to think about the extra stuff and like what fans would like or what they gravitate towards. And yeah, if you're gonna do a throwback to the movies and shit like that, yeah, go for it, man.
Fan service sells.
Yeah, fan service. You can do it. It's what the figures. I encourage that. You know, the more you can add on, the better. Why the hell not?
Oh, it was like that one you did for that NECA guy, Frankenstein, the NECA Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That all the attention to detail they paid to that looked amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, guys, if you haven't seen it, yeah, I did a great review on that Universal Monsters Boris Karloff Frankenstein. They gave him 2 extra heads. One expression was really strange. That kind of he's got only one side of his mouth open. And I know he did it in the movie, but it just that they added an extra head. He comes with 3 heads. What is it? 4 different pairs of hands. The chains that you could put on his hands. Like that's a lot of cool shit that they added. They even did the flowers for like when he threw the girl into the lake there. Like the little daisies. So he could have like that kind of confused wonderment look on his face while he's holding his flowers, like, you know, almost like a handicapped person. Like, woo, flowers. This is pretty.
Just smell the flowers, Lizzie. Smell the flowers.
He threw her in. He threw her in. But yeah, dude, it's that kind of stuff. And if you saw like they're doing the Lon Chaney Jr. Wolfman as well, and they have swap out parts so you could have his human look and the Wolfman look.
Nice.
That's pretty damn awesome.
It baffles me when some of these companies just can't seem to get it right. But I mean, we are starting to see a resurgence, and I noticed it early in I want to say it was 2018 when I first started seeing some of them reemerge with the retro stuff. I mean, you've had G.I. Joe. Hasbro went back to the well with G.I. Joe after they had already found out that they could do it with Transformers, because they actually did it a few times with Transformers. The first time that they did it was like in 2009. Then they did it again in like 2012. Then they did it a few years later, and then it lay dormant for a while. And then somewhere around like 2018 to 2019, they came back with the G1 retro toys again, re-releasing them. Then they did G.I. Joe. Then you've seen Mattel come out with the He-Man figures. Then you've seen Kenner, I think it was Kenner, came out with the because Kenner is under Hasbro now anyway, but they came out with the Kenner logo for the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Then you start seeing like the Alien figures came out. and they were like paying that homage to the original ones that came out. Like, dude, some of that stuff that they're coming out with now is amazing. And then when they come out with some of these toys like NECA and oh God, what was the other company you mentioned earlier? 9.
The Super 7, I think.
Super 7, that's it.
Yeah.
Super 7.
Oh, by the way, Nelson, yeah, you could still get Through the Woods, through the Indiegogo page. Tommy, I dropped the link in the private. If you want to drop it in there.
Oh yeah. Hold on.
Like from here, you could do it because I don't have the stream up right now.
Just give me a second. Got to
No
copy it. But oh man, like all those figures, I wish I could have bought every single one. I mean, I know there was a few companies that were doing some of the figures earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had Reaction was doing some amazing figures. And now, granted, they were the 3 3/4. They weren't very posable. But just the idea that they were bringing back those type of characters early on, I think they might have been the ones that actually got a lot of these companies to take a second look. Like, people are interested in these things, and these barely look like the original toys, but they're interested in enough to buy it. Maybe we should get back in and look into re-releasing.
Oh yeah, man, it's a smart thing. You know, because it is the retro stuff that people really dig. Hold on, I think I have it up now too. But yeah, man, it's
I put the Shadow of the Kraken one somehow. How did I do that?
It's all right. I'm in here now. I'll drop it. There we go. There's Through the Woods. But
you know what? I had a separate page. I'm so sorry. I had a separate page with all those things, and somehow when I clicked on it, it brought up Through the Woods somehow because my links notepad.
Yeah, man, it's no big deal. Like I said, we got it anyway. But I think the retro shit is great, and like doing updated versions on these classic figures that we all love. Because let's face it, most of them are impossible to get if you're looking for the old stuff, and they don't look as good. If you could do an updated version, it's got more detail, and you know, it just works better, has better articulation. Yeah, why the hell not? You know, like even like the Toon versions. I don't know if you've seen them. NECA's been doing like the Toon versions of like kind of the movie Monsters and Maniacs.
Yes, yeah. I seen a whole lot of the ones from Back to the Future.
Those I think look bad, but the other shit that they did looks really good. Like they had Freddy. They did. Jason.
I seen Pinhead.
Pinhead, yeah, that looked good. I recently picked up Elvira. That looks great. The expression
does she jiggle? Does she jiggle?
If you shake it. No, it's not plastic. But like the arm. There's articulation in the arms and in the head. That's about it. So she's like a little statue. Anyway, but the head's ball jointed, but you get a little bit of movement. I didn't bother doing a review because it's so small anyway. But mine had a slight defect. It's the only one I saw in the store. I didn't know until I opened it. It's the back of the dress had like, I guess when they put it in, the plastic was too hot or something, and it's bent backwards. So I heated it up and tried to bend it. What do you want? Sometimes you get QC issues, especially with NECA. That's why I was so impressed by the Frankenstein, because that thing is a flawless figure, absolutely flawless.
I was amazed how well that they did that figure.
You and me both, and especially like the articulation on it. It's Frankenstein. You'd think they go more like a kind of neutral posing and like, you know, not think that much about articulation. No, this guy, he could do splits. Some Spider-Man figures can't do splits.
No,
it's insane.
Saying hi to people in the chat too.
Yeah, man.
I'm not creative. I'm pretty sure I said hi to you earlier, but just in case I didn't, what's going on, buddy? Unfortunately, I'm not creative. Tends to wind up getting cock blocked by YouTube a lot when he tries to leave likes on the live streams or videos.
Wow. I know Wookie and my brother too. They were in a couple of chats the other day, I think on ETAPS as well, and like nothing was going through. All their messages kept getting stopped.
Well, you know, here's a funny thing. I mean, I don't want to dwell too much on that because, you know, we're supposed to be having fun talking about stuff.
Yeah.
But I just want to mention real quick, when they first started doing that shit with the Google moderators, one of the things that they did is, they would moderate the people in the chat. And if you were a moderator and you seen what their Google moderator was doing, you could actually see it. You could see Google moderator timed out so-and-so. Now, it seems like they're hiding that shit even from the moderators on the channel. So we don't see it anymore. Because I was on the channel with somebody and they say my comments are getting struck. And I was like, really? Because I was a mod there. I was like, I didn't see it. Wow. We used to see it before. Now they're hiding what they're doing. Like, seriously?
That is crazy. Well, hopefully it won't happen too much over here, like you said, since we're talking about toys anyway. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
They hate Wookiees. They do. They hate guinea pigs, too.
Sons of bitches.
Damn specious. Can't tolerate that. I need a guinea pig toy. I bet you it'll look better than a frog.
Yeah, see, I keep getting messages from people, too. They're asking how come I wasn't involved in it. I'm like, well, I don't know. Somebody just doesn't like me, maybe? I have no idea. I was a lead designer at McFarlane Toys. I think I know a thing or two about what a figure should look like and how articulation should be and all that kind of stuff.
So just in case anybody hasn't really caught up on that, I mean, I know we've mentioned it numerous times, but you used to work for McFarlane Toys. How long did you work there?
About 2 years, but I had like 3 to 4 years worth of work that came out. So even after I left, my products were still coming out.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. But yeah, it's almost like a Mr. Rogers field trip. Like at first, it's like really exciting and awesome to see, and then afterwards, it turns into a Mr. Rogers field trip gone terribly, terribly wrong.
Show me on the McFarlane doll where he touched you, Vinny.
No, not like that. More like just like the inner politics of some of these people and shit.
No, I know. I'm just being a wise ass. You know me.
It's like everywhere. I don't get it. But when people are being good and they're doing their work, amazing stuff gets released. When they're not, well, things fall to shit. And that's what happened with McFarlane as well. Like shortly after I left, maybe another year or so, they started outsourcing to China. They changed a whole bunch of stuff. While I was there were a couple people trying to push in the real scanning technology, and then let's just do China. They're doing great with their sculpting anyway. So if you need shit sculpted, just go over there. Wrong. You lost the studio environment. You lost the art of making these figures and coming up with really cool designs. You know what I mean?
Would you say a large part of that is probably due to ego, because somebody felt like they could do better than the next guy and trying to show them up to and just causing static?
The main problem was that Todd was not there to oversee things. I think maybe was it 2.5 years after I left, he decided to pack up shop over there, and he brought everything over to Tempe, Arizona, where he's at. This was actually in Jersey, and the two guys running it were running it into the ground. And then they were getting influence from other people as well. So like the guy in the mold shop was the one pushing for the real scan technology. We don't need sculptors. I could save Todd money, but you definitely need a mold maker. Like everyone was trying to backstab other people. And that's the dirty thing about that. You know what I mean? Because like the guy in the mold shop was a complete dick. Nobody liked him. Nobody. He was like in a separate building by himself. And that's kind of one of the reasons why, right? He had no creative input on anything. And I think he also fucked up a lot of stuff too. Because like had to like cut up the figures in order to do the molding and casting on them. His choices were really, really bad on what he wanted to do and like where the seam lines would be. And it would create even more work for people who had to like clean it up before we could like paint them and assemble them and really figure it out. Yeah, it's crazy. The whole process is it's interesting, but then, yeah, if you have shitty people in the mix, shitty people are always going to destroy business. I don't care where it is, how it is. That's why I always preach being kind to one another, because that's what we have to do. If you're cool with people and you can move things along in a proper manner, you're going to get nothing but greatness coming out. Once there's poison in the well, guess what? The villagers all got sick and died.
It's the old adage, you get what you put in.
Yeah, exactly.
And Nelson says, thank you so much for answering all my questions.
You're very welcome. Thank you for asking.
Oh, Wookie's going for the dick jokes to see what's going to happen. See if they're going to get them. Apparently, I can see it here. I don't know if they're getting you on YouTube or not. I hope not. Leave my mods alone, YouTube. You're going to have to deal with a nibbling. But, I mean, one of the other things eventually I want to get into is I want to talk about what we were planning on doing. I know we were talking about, we're going to talk about some of these toys. We're going to talk about some of the retro toys that are being done right. And then we're going to make mention of some of the older stuff as well. And just to let people know, in case like people like Stories by Irish, I know Stories by Irish like some of the older stuff too. And it's not always going to be just boys' toys. We will eventually wind up getting in talking about some of the other figures that the girls liked back then. Mm-hmm. I know that's a big toxic thing to say, but guess what? There was a huge divide in what girls and boys went after when they went into toy aisles, and you still see it today. Mm-hmm. I seen a mother and her daughter. She's like, oh, what do you want to go look at? And the little girl went right into the doll section where all the Barbies and My Little Ponies and Strawberry Shortcake reissue stuff that they had going on. She went right there. She didn't go for the action figures. That's not to say that some girls don't, but the majority of them go after that stuff. It's just, I don't know if you want to say, you can't really even say it's programming necessarily. It's just what they feel drawn to.
Yeah, it's when it comes down to, especially with kids, I think it is the packaging on a lot of stuff. Since the girls' figures, they're brighter, they're a little more clear to see. It's usually either like the pink colors that they really like. Because if you go down like the girls' lanes in the toy stores and shit like that, it's an explosion of like just there's pink everywhere and plushies or these dolls with gigantic eyes. Like, there's a certain aesthetic, you're right, that the girls will gravitate towards. The boys, if something looks really cool or maybe a little evil looking or very heroic, it depends too. Like, what are you trying to sell them? Is it something for younger kids? Is it something for like teenagers and up? That's where you'll have the divide. Because I've known like a good number of collectors too, like female ones, that they're into all this stuff. And it doesn't really matter as long as it looks great and there's good articulation. You could pose them on a shelf really nice, stuff like that.
Stories rolling on the floor laughing. There was a huge divide because my parents were all about the Barbies and stuff. I was more of a book reader than a toy person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that definitely happens too. Like I had a lot of female cousins who, when we were growing up, there was two of them that liked Barbies a lot, and then there was another one that, like, she had a couple of them, but same thing. Like, she'd rather read books than play with the dolls, or, And then you have the kids too, who are the ones who actually like to collect and leave them in packaging or take them out, and then when they're done with them, whatever they're doing, they'll put them back in the packaging, and they want to keep everything pristine. Because a lot of Barbie collectors do that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll pick up these rare figures or certain type of whatever, Malibu Barbie or the Barbie on vacation in fucking Italy. I don't know. They have so many different versions of shit. But like, there are specific ones that are like that, or who'll team up with like a big company, like a knockoff Gucci kind of dress that they put on Barbie, and it's a limited edition and shit like that.
Yeah. Then they had what, like an Eddie Bauer one and everything too.
Yeah, I think shit like that. Yeah, I don't know too much about it, but I know it has happened. And if you ever look up like prices on that stuff, like those things go for an arm and a leg.
Well, I mean, I know a little bit about it just because I had two girls, so they always wanted Barbies. I asked them what they wanted, and they said they wanted Barbies. I was trying to force Transformers on my one daughter all the time. Eventually, both of them liked Transformers. The one I don't talk to anymore, but the one I do still talk to, she still loves Transformers. And she likes a lot of the same characters I like in Transformers. So she likes Soundwave. She likes Starscream. She likes Ravage and stuff like that. She likes the bad guys for the most part. It's not to say she don't like some of the good guys, but she prefers them. So when they had those figures come out, I picked her up some of those, and she was like, "Oh my God, this is great." She didn't even want to take it out of the package. She was like, she didn't want to touch it at first. I said, play with it. That's what it's there for.
Yeah, well, it's funny too. I've seen a couple of collectors like online and stuff too. Like I've watched here and there, and just some of their reviews. Some of them have really big channels. One guy in particular, he'll buy the Transformers and never transform them. Like, he's intimidated to transform them. but he loves like the robot versions. As long as he can kind of articulate and pose them, that's all he cares about. Which is pretty funny. There's like these hardcore collectors, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I'm afraid to transform him."
No, see, I'm not like that. I actually seen some of the. Well, hold on, I better get to these real quick. So, stories by Irish. My kids, however, they will play with anything. They don't care if it's considered a girl toy or not. And Marie, what's up, Maria? Hello there. Maria. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. But I seen the Transformers out there. They had these ones that were very cartoon accurate, and they had limited posability though. And they were just the robots. They didn't transform, but they had like all kinds of tapping. And they had two different ones. They had like, it was Red 8 or Action Red or something to that name. I forget what it was. They were fully stand-up figures. The arms moved, the legs moved. I think there was even like elbow joints and knee joints and all that stuff. Very articulate looking figures, but they were just robot figures. That's it. Yeah. They came with different hands and stuff like that, like different heads and all that shit. Megatron came with the smaller version of himself as a gun. Soundwave came with 2 mini versions of Laserbeak and Ravage, and he also came with, I think, a mini tape deck. Then they came with like the blast effects for the guns. Cool looking. I'm not going to deny that they're not cool looking, but I am not going to buy a Transformer if it doesn't
transform. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I was the same way. I'm like, what? How are they making Transformers that aren't going to transform? Because there's been some I've seen. They did like, what is it? 3-0, I think is the company. They did like the movie Bumblebee stuff, right? And it's super hyper detailed. The paint jobs are amazing on them. I'm like, it doesn't transform though. Then I saw one that same exact level of detail, and it transformed. I'm like, how the fuck did they do this? And I saw a video of a guy transforming it. I'm like, this thing would take a week to transform. Like,
some of them are so ridiculously complicated. Like, even for me, I've always prided myself on being able to transform the old ones. Like, you give me an old Transformer, I will transform it, no directions needed, unless it's like it's part swapping, like a Mega Supreme, where you're breaking them down. But even him, he's not that difficult to actually change, so I don't think that's really fair either. But some of these new ones, when they've got like 26, 27, 28 steps or more, even I have to look in the direction like, how the hell does that flip? Because I get worried about breaking some of them. Because even though they're not overly flimsy, if you put enough stress on these, you will mess them up. I actually, I messed up. What was it? Cyclonus from Kingdom. I didn't realize how the cockpit of the ship was supposed to turn before I flipped the head and everything around, and I actually put a small stress mark on it. Which I know a way to take it out from all my days of repairing Transformers. If you take a heat gun to it and you back it off enough and you just get hot enough, the stress mark will just disappear.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Nice.
Maria has something I want to see. I'm pretty sure you did a Friday the 13th figure, didn't you? She says, how are you, my good people? Yes, I just saw a Jason from Friday the 13th figure, and I wanted it with weapons and everything. I would totally play with it.
Yeah, that thing was beautiful. I got them off of Sideshow sells them. If you go to the Sideshow website, I believe. I think they still have them. I think I got that particular one on eBay though. But yeah, it's Sideshow's Friday the 13th Jason. So you can definitely check that out. But those things are cool. That's why I really like the 1/6 scale, because to me, it's kind of like they're like statues that you could pose, right? You could pose, you could put them in cool different positions, and like I'm a big fan of a couple of different series of figures. So like I'll get a few different lines of things. The Resident Evil stuff, I'm a big fan of that. So in most cases they are third-party figures. It's hard to find one that's like legit licensed product. They did it with the Leon Kennedy from the remake game. He's like one of the first figures I reviewed. Him and Dr. Octopus. But Dr. Octopus was a third party. Leon from Resident Evil, he's a legit licensed product. That thing is killer. Damn toys. And it is a damn good toy. Like the articulation, the specific body that they did, even the boots. Because like some of these figures too, the articulation, because if they have like high army boots, they're usually kind of too static. You can't do much with them. But they did a good job engineering it where there's like a ball joint inside and he could still get some good pivot, even though it's like a solid piece. I prefer the ones like they do, like the split cut boot design. That way you have full natural articulation in the ankles. So if you want to pose them a certain way, if someone's like, with a weapon, and like if you really kind of study people and things like that, I'm an artist, so I'm always studying that kind of thing. So if you want to put figures in a good pose that have natural posability, yeah, that kind of stuff is a huge plus,
Absolutely. I know I got one of the Jason figures too. I actually got the one that was supposed to be from Jason Lives, which was part 6. I got that one. So it comes with his tombstone and it comes with the version of him like you've seen in that movie. I also seen the other
one.
I forget offhand which one it is. It's actually in my closet. I would have to go run and grab it, but yeah, give me 1 second. I'll grab it. I'll see what company it's from.
Okay, it's all good. But yeah, because that's why I kind of jump all over the place with what I collect, but I've been doing it for a long time. So like I'll get stuff that's like McFarlane or 1/12 scale, 1/6 scale. It all depends. Some of the Japanese figures are damn impressive. There's a company, SH Figure Arts. They do some really really cool stuff. Like one of the lines I've been getting from them. It's been a while though since they released another new one, but the Street Fighter figures, holy crap, the articulation on those things are damn impressive.
All right, I'm going to see if I can get my camera to work for this.
Sure.
It always freezes up, so if it freezes up, let me know. Unfortunately, my internet isn't that good, so.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's one of that's one of the NECA ones. Yeah, those are pretty cool. Yeah, I think they just released a newer one as well. All right, now you just froze.
Oh, the Pamela Voorhees. Yeah. That's a problem. I have to stop the camera, then restart it, and then it should be fine for a minute or two. But yeah, it came with the Pamela Voorhees tombstone. That's what it came with.
That's cool. Yeah, and that's the thing, like with NECA.
Yeah, that's NECA.
Yeah, for the people who don't know, they used to be the majority of the guys working there came from McFarlane. That's why a lot of the figures, they look like classic McFarlane figures, like the movie Maniacs, stuff like that.
Oh, LDG, what's going on, LDG? Welcome, buddy. And son of a red shirt, what's up? I had a chance to talk with him a few times. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're all having a fantastic night. I know I am. And I'm Not Creative says I have no preference between Autobot or Decepticon.
Nice.
It was the first wheel. He transformed into nothing. This was found at a disguise, a costume store at all places, like $200. Wow. Yeah, some of those places, they're ridiculous because they get these things from regular stores and then they jack the price up. And there's a lot of comic book stores that do that shit as well. I mean, I know they got to make $1, but the problem is when they get these figures, and a lot of people shit on the comic book stores for doing it, for upping the price. You got to remember, when they get them, they're buying them at the same price you would buy them for at the store. They're not getting any discounts. The only time you get a discount from these companies is when you buy in bulk and you get them by like the crate.
Yeah. But the thing that sucks though, because I know a lot of comic shops, they would go to like a Target or a Walmart. They'll clean out, like if they just put up a new batch of figures, they'll buy it all, then bring it to their comic shop and price gouge the shit out of them. Mm-hmm. That's some dirty practicing right there. But Wookie, I do remember the McFarlane Dragon series. A lot of those were really cool. A lot of them sucked as well. It depends on the type of dragon you were looking for, but I didn't work on those. Those came out a little bit after I left there. But I do. I have a number of them. There's a few of them I really really liked.
All right, Nelson, the gentleman asks Tommy and Vinny. Remember the good old days back in the late 90s, 2000s when you could pay $15 or $20 for a McFarlane toy of a comic or movie character that was almost the same quality as a $300 hot toy?
Those were cool. I really like when they were doing the 12-inch and the 18-inch. Those were impressive because the price, like you said, the price was really good. these Hot Toy figures are getting ridiculous in pricing. They really are. That's why I'm happy that there's more third parties, because it's like half the price and the detail is just as good or even better in some cases.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, they got so good at it, and they were making, you know, such good sales with the quality that they, you know, they're starting to price themselves right out of the market. And that's what a lot of these toy manufacturers were doing at one point. That's why some of them had to, like, okay, we shouldn't raise prices too much more, even though they did a bit. Because like the same figures that you buy now that are like, I don't know, like they're like on average, I think almost like what, $15 to $20 for like a small Transformer, the basics. Or no, they're $10 still. They're 10 to $12 depending on where you go. So those $10 to $12 toys, they were only like $2.99 when Generation 1 came out.
Yeah.
But over the years, those prices just kept going up, going up, going up, going up. Yeah. And every year they've raised just a little bit more. And then you get figures in the next line up. They're barely bigger than the core figures, and they're $20. So some of those figures don't always sell quite as fast unless it's a name like Bumblebee or something like that. Like my one guinea pig Cliff Jumper, when I went out to find his toy, there was an assload of them on the shelf. So I was able to get one. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take the chance, though, and wait. I'm just going to buy it now just in case.
Yeah.
But
and you're right. Like the Cliff Jumper and the Bumblebee, they are tiny figures, and they won't change the price. They'll even use the full same box, wasted space all over the place, wasted material, just because they keep the price exactly the same. It's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. Like the lesser known figures as well, they'll do a shoddy job on them. I picked up the one dude with the blue Corvette with the with like the red
tracks.
Yeah, tracks.
I just picked him up as well. He's sitting in the back waiting for a review.
Yeah, like the figure itself feels like shit. Like it's a weak figure. As a kid, it was like one of my favorites. From what I remember, like, you know.
Oh, I still have the original G1.
Nice, man. But like the Corvette, like the transformed version, is great. I don't think I'm ever gonna put him into robot mode because I fucking hate the robot mode. It feels like a cheap, flimsy piece of shit because he's a lesser known character and they're not going to put the money into it. So, like, the design, like the articulation, it's shit, man.
My buddy Slash says the 18-inch McFarlane figures were dope. I have the Talking Ash one.
Look at if you look at the instructions on how to put the batteries in, those are my hands on Ash. I used to tell people I was a hand model for a day. I did the I put the batteries in for him and another figure. I think it was the Leatherface. Might have been the Leatherface.
Yeah. I know me and Slasher, we went out to a local comic book store he has over there in the Bronx. And they had a whole bunch of McFarlane figures that he was looking at the time, and he was like, he didn't have the money for him. Mm-hmm. And I was willing to spot him the money. And he was like, no. If I don't have it, I'm not going to get it. I said, fair enough. I understand that. So he said he went back later on to go pick them up, and they were all gone because they were reasonably priced.
Damn.
And they were some of the older ones too.
Well, that's the thing, man. Some of those older ones were way fucking better. There's figures that I designed. I could never get my hands on them because either they sold out immediately or like the third party market or the resale market is ridiculous on them. I found one of the Tortured Souls that I designed at a comic book convention at a more reasonable price. It was still overpriced, but it wasn't as bad as like fucking. I'm not dropping $60 to $100 on these fucking things. No thanks.
No. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it if you have the money to blow on collectibles. But, I mean, at the same time, I mean, do you really want to take some of these people that are actually looking to take advantage of you?
Right.
Do you really want to give them that opportunity? I know I don't.
Nope.
And it really is a shame because there's people out there that will go out and get these toys and they do kind of scalp them, but they don't up the price too much. They up just a little bit for their time invested to get them out there to people. There are people that do that, but the majority of them, no, they're out there to just rip you off. I try not to ever give those people my money.
Yeah, man, I agree. I try to avoid it at all costs, unless if it's something I need to fucking have. I'm like, no, it's a character I love or whatever. Can't find them anywhere. I might bite the bullet, but it's rare. I rather just, if I can't find it in the store, I'll usually pass. But like I'm not really looking for certain things anymore. Unless like I said, the things that I usually, what I'm looking for that I really like to buy, they're not in stores. You can only get them online. So
yeah, a lot of it's going that way. I mean, there is one problem though with buying some of this stuff online. Like even if you go, like let's say with my Transformers, I could go to Hasbro online, like I can go to their eBay store or whatever.
yeah,
They will have certain figures always up and available, but a lot of the more, I guess you would say, popular ones are extremely hard to find. Like even on their own site.
yep.
Because they cater to the stores first, and unfortunately, that's the stuff that the toy scalpers are going out looking for. So
yeah, well, dude, have you seen the what do you call it from GI Joe, Baroness? They have the store exclusives that were. She came with the motorcycle, and it was like a Target exclusive. These fucking scalpers, because I knew someone who worked at Target. He goes, these sons of bitches, they'll wait there before the store opens. They're there from like 6 or 7 in the morning. As soon as the doors open, they run back there and they demand the employees to go in the back and take out the boxes. And they just fucking clean house right there. Then they'll put them on eBay. They'll sell them for fucking 4 or 5 times what it's worth. And they screw out people across the board. And they were really doing it at the height of the coof, because that's how a lot of these guys were making good money. If they weren't working and stuff, they'd run to the stores, clean out these toy stores and shit, and resell online.
Oh, and especially with like a lot of people just being scared to go outside, so they're staying home. So these guys are just getting the run of it.
Oh yeah, and my friend, it's funny too, because he said him and his other buddies, he goes, because most of them are super mean and nasty. She was like, oh yeah, oh you want your figures? Because they know that they have them. I guess they could find out when the orders are actually even shipping to the stores.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a certain day that all those stores actually get the stock in, and it's not hidden really, and they can actually go online and they can put in the SKU number of what toy it is in particular, and they can see how many they have in stock.
Yeah,
my wife has done it when she goes to the store. She knows what the SKU numbers for something is, and she'll put it into her phone. Oh, well, they have 3 in stock. It says right here. I'm like,
well,
yeah,
that's what they do, and it's funny because my friend goes, yeah, if they're acting really nasty, oh yeah, they'll take the boxes and they'll kick the shit out of them in the back room, and they go, oh yeah, here you go. Now you can't sell your fucking figure. None of the boxes are pristine, prick.
I picked up a few like that if I knew I was keeping it just for my own collection. But even then, for my own collection, I tend to not want to buy ones that are that damaged.
Right.
But every once in a while, if I can't find it anywhere else, I might pick it up. And I've seen them like that too, and I laugh my ass off. And it's funny, it was the same store. I talked to a guy in Target, and he told me exactly what time they put the figures out. He says, if you get here right around the time when we put them out, he says, you're going to be able to get your pick of the litter.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, okay. He said, you just got to watch out for the scalpers. Dude, I said, if a scalper gets in my way, he's going to wind up being laid out in your toy aisle. I'm just going to let you know. You're going to get a phone call. There's a cleanup in the toy aisle.
That's the way to do it. I seen one of the people I used to follow, they had recorded 2 scalpers fighting over figures. Like one guy had like a box set in his hand, and the other guy came over and ripped it out of his hands, and they had a fist fight in the store. Could you imagine?
While they're fist fighting, I'll just go over there and pick it up and just casually walk away. Like,
oh no, like what? It was like under one. No, it was like under one guy's arm, and they were still like fucking like tug of war and swinging fists in the air.
Yeah, well, that's just as good. While he's worried about the other guy, I just like snake it right out from underneath his arm and walk away. They're too busy. They're too busy fighting. They ain't gonna have time for me. And even if they do, I'll just bowl them both over and then be on my merry way.
It's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
Now, I mean, you've seen the same things like back in the day with some of the other toys, like when these franchises hit hot, especially right around the holidays, like the big fiasco that went on in the 80s with the Cabbage Patch Kids. I mean, those people went absolutely insane trying to get to those toys. A more modern one would have been Tickle Me Elmo. People were going nuts, like starting fist fights in the store to pick up a Tickle Me Elmo.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just they're toys, man. They're plastic.
Did you ever see the guy was talking about? He was running a Toys R Us store, and all these parents came in demanding the Cabbage Patch Kids, and he was like, "Look, I want an orderly line," and they were refusing, and they were screaming and yelling, and he took out a baseball bat and said, "The next one that gets out of line."
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
I think they wanted to bring that poor guy up on charges. He was just trying to restore a little order to his store. I mean, I didn't see a problem with it.
Well, dude, yeah. Well, when these people just they go off the handle. Like I remember back when I think it was Black Friday when the PlayStation 2 came out. Dude, people like literally getting murdered to grab these products. Like you still had to pay for them. It's not like you were like running out of the store with them. You know, like today in California. But
it's all legit now.
Dude, it's ridiculous. And forget about like even now, like the PlayStation 5. And good luck finding it anywhere. Those aren't in stores.
And they know that there's going to be shortages. They know it.
Oh yeah. Well, they do
and because especially they know that these people are going to come in. They're going to buy 4 or 5 of them, and then they're going to put them up on the eBay.
Yep.
What's going on, Walton? Welcome, buddy.
What up, Walton? Hope you're being good. We're talking about toys.
Yeah, we're not talking about the type of toys you're used to, Walton. It's okay.
I didn't say it. He said it.
It's not my fault. I can't help it. He expects it out of me, and if I don't deliver, he's going to think there's something wrong with me.
This is true. Wait, Tommy, you tell me that there isn't something wrong with you?
I don't know. I thought this was normal for me.
Yeah, no, you're awesome, bro. It's always a good time.
There it
Holy
is.
Shit.
That's right. Can I get an asshole? Thank you. But we started off just delving into that Ram Man figure that I picked up, and I thought that one was amazing. And we just delved into a whole bunch of older stuff on top of that too.
Hell yeah! I mean, you and I, we've been collecting all our lives, so like we know what we like, or we know what's out there, and I think it's always a pretty interesting conversation anyway.
Now I want to pose this to the chat. I mean, I know I do the same thing every once in a while in the retro stream, just to ask. What would you guys like to see us talk about? Is there like some more modern retro toy that you'd like to see us discuss? Do you want to delve more into the history of Vinny Art and his time with McFarlane Toys? Be sure to let us know for a future episode of Collectible Past what you may want. Like, go back on this, leave a comment on the video, just tell us a toy brand that you want to see, and we will wind up pulling it up and we'll talk about it too.
For sure. I'm down for all that.
Camille Noir, Tortured Soul.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I designed from the McFarlane line there.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the one I found her at a comic book convention. She's in the packaging. The fucking whole box turned yellow though from wherever the hell they had it. That's the one thing with those McFarlanes when they had them like in the clamshell packaging.
Mm-hmm.
It only take like a year or two. The packaging they turn like a gold or a yellow color.
Yeah, you would think at that point that they would have stopped using the bromine, because that's what that was. It's the bromine that's actually in the plastics, because I ran across that with a lot of the old Transformers, especially the ones that were white, like Jetfire, or you remember the Transformers when they came out with Series 2. They re-released the original mini cars, and with the mini cars, they put these mini spies. They were basically teeny tiny little cars, Jeeps, cars, and a few other things. And you would pull them back with a spring action, and they would just transform like really loosely, just like the arms would pop out and the legs would just flip down like some of the early GoBots.
Mm-hmm.
But they had a bunch of them in white. They were in white, yellow, blue. It was white, yellow, and blue, and I think there might have been one other color. But the white one would always turn that nasty tar yellowish color.
Yeah,
because of the bromine in it. And even if you kept it out of the sun, that didn't guarantee it wasn't going to turn, because that bromine did something over time with the plastic. Now there is a way to change it back, but it requires using hydrogen peroxide, not on the actual plastic, but it's sitting in a closed container right above the hydrogen peroxide, and you put it out in the sun, and it will take all the yellow off. Unfortunately, with something like that packaging, now is that a full clamshell packaging that we're talking about, or are we talking about the clamshell packaging with the cardboard?
No, it's full clamshell.
All right, full clamshell, you'd be able to do that if you put it in a closed container, like have maybe like a little a mesh ladder type thing, something that's open where you could sit it on top of and fill the bottom of the container with hydrogen peroxide, and you need at least 3%, and you put it out in the sun. In a make sure it's got like a clear top container or something like that where you can put it out in the sun. It will take all the yellow out. It takes all the yellow from the bromine out.
Wow. Yeah, Tommy, you know your shit, brother.
I know a few things. Guinea pig has been around the block a few times.
That's great.
Yeah, because I took one of those mini bots. I mean, I got it, and it was so bad with the bromine that it was literally yellow. It was like a yellowish brown. It was so nasty looking.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's gross.
The only problem though is if there's any stickers, it ruins the stickers because the original mini spies had that little like rub sign sticker. Yeah, it ruined the rub sign sticker. But the plastic was all white again. So
yeah, I think they have two. Yeah, I think there's 2 stickers on it. It was like a McFarlane or Spawn.com sticker and something else.
Yeah, but, so I think if you put tape or something over top of that, it prevent it from getting ruined.
Right. But I was going to say, too, like with those figures, it's really interesting because when we were working on them, there was absolutely zero involvement from Clive Barker. Zero involvement. And a lot of people think that, it's his thing. No, basically, they just paid for a license to kind of use his name in order to sell these products. The stories that came with those things as well, because like when you open them up, they each have like a part of a story. So it's the 6 figures. If you get them all, they kind of connect to one another or whatever. He didn't write those, and like I said, when we were working on them, they didn't even have any names. It's whatever like came out of my head and the other people who were working there. I designed 3 of the figures in that line, and like the one that got the deal was he was the dude that like his arms were stretched out. And like his whole like inner chest and face were like all ripped up, and like the figure was so gruesome looking that they had to put like a little mask over his face, and they tried to like hide the insides. It was crazy because like what store is going to be able to carry these things?
and now look at some of the stuff that they sell.
Yeah, but hey, I know he's making a fortune with that fucking DC stuff. Like I've picked up a few of them because I think they look pretty good, And I didn't think I'd be grabbing any more McFarlane stuff, but
I remember early on they were involved with a lot of the movie Maniacs figure lines too.
Yeah. Oh, the movie Maniacs, those things were always great, but they were always trying to see what was like the cheapest license that they could find. Like they never wanted to do the Terminators. They eventually did later because they had to pay Arnold like 2% or something. And McFarlane's so cheap, he didn't want to do it.
Well, you know which one? I had a bunch of them, and losing all those pissed me off too. But I had like the Jason one. I had 2. Actually, I had 2 Jason ones. I had one where he had the hood on, and then I had the regular traditional Jason, and I had Michael Myers. I had Freddy. I had the what do they call him? Scream from Scream, Ghostface Killer.
Ghostface.
Yeah, I had him. But the one that always pissed me off the most that I lost is I had the big diorama with the orca with jaws on the back of the boat where you had the breakaway Quint figure.
Yeah,
I had that one.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on that one. One of my brothers had we got one. He was very hard to find. We got one, and then I think he got destroyed in a move, and then another one that we were able to get our hands on. I think my brother gave it away to someone. And I'm like, what the fuck? Those things are going for an arm and a leg. One of the coolest pieces I think they ever produced. And like the boat, that thing, when they put like the first guy who kind of like fabricated the whole boat, because it wasn't sculpted, it had to be made in plastic parts and all that stuff. When they went to put it inside of the to make the molds of it, that thing got completely destroyed. The guy had to build it like 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
He was flipping the fuck out and ripped into that mold shop guy. He's like, "You piece of shit. What the fuck did you do to my piece?" Like, that guy was going bananas because it's hours and hours and hours worth of work that they put into it, It was a damn shame. But in the end, though, like, I remember they did send over a photo from Spielberg, and literally, like, his face was like next to the thing, and he was like beside himself. Like, you can see how shocked and impressed he was over the piece.
Yeah, I thought the detail for something like that, like those diorama, for that kind of diorama, is like basically a toy, was phenomenal. And I think when I got it at the time, I don't even think I paid more than $35 for it.
Yeah, when he came out, yeah.
Yeah, and now, I mean, well, I don't know about right now, but the last time I looked was probably about 6 years ago. And I seen the price, what it was going for, and I just said, ugh. And I just shut eBay down. I was like, I don't even want to look at it. And at that time, it was going for like $400 some odd.
Wow. Yeah, you definitely, you would throw up in your own mouth. Like, I had that.
Oh, I was so pissed. Yeah, and then I got my wife in my ear. You just need to let it go. I'm gonna let you go right off the roof if you keep it up with me.
Well, I'll tell you right now, there's a few people who are selling it on eBay, and surprisingly, not that bad. The price came down. There's even one guy, he has it open for $60.
Wow.
That's amazing. So, all right, in package, I guess this is pretty close to mint. The guy has it for around $400. There's another one selling it for $237.
Red Gaze, what's up, Red? I prefer throwing up in someone else's mouth.
Classic Red. But yeah, dude, it's insane, man. When you see like some of this stuff.
Well, I remember this was right around the time, like in between 2009 to 2012. They actually did this overscaled version of Grimlock, and he came with a crown, and he came with a few other things, and I want to say he was about $75 in Toys R Us. And then a few years later, because I told my wife, I said, let's spend the extra money and get a few of them. We could sit a few in my toy crate for later on. She said, there's no way we're buying those things for $75 a piece and holding on to any. Yeah, not even like 5 years after I told her that, we seen them selling for over $350 a figure. And I said, I told you we should have gotten. And she's like, shut up. I said, I told you, shut up. And I was like, yeah,
Wow.
Because I was right and you were wrong again.
Yeah, dude, it's unbelievable. Oh my, never mind. I'm scrolling down. There's some people who have this figure for over 500. There's someone selling them for 700. Jesus, that's bananas right there. But what I was about to say is, do you remember the movie posters that they did that were kind of like 3-dimensional?
Yes, I have a Friday the 13th one.
They have a RoboCop. This thing's going for like fucking $225, and the Jaws one, it's going for $325.
Wow.
And it's just a wall decoration.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the one I got was the Friday the 13th one. I think I was looking for the Jaws one and I couldn't find it nowhere at the time. So,
Dude, crazy. And I remember I almost bought the RoboCop one because I just thought it looked so cool how they eventually did it. But dude, man, it's going for $225. That's insane.
Yes, and Tommy reminds us all why not to get married or get married with somebody who's working all the time, because that's what my wife is usually doing. She's usually working. So while she's working, Tommy goes out and buys toys. And then I hide him in the back room and I let her know later on. Yeah, I bought this like weeks ago. Remember? I don't remember that. Yeah, well, too bad.
Yeah, there's another room that's filled with toys. I think you're lying.
Oh, she can't wait for me to put the extension on the house. Like we got everything squared away with the mortgage, so I can have an extension put on for me and the guinea pigs and all my toys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna have stuff all over the walls and everything. It's gonna be glorious.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's what I want to do with my stuff when I get it. You know, I'm looking to get my own damn studio that I want to do properly. And yeah, I got a ton of shit that I want to put on display, and other stuff I would review. I do like a retro review thing and like take out older figures. Like obviously they're not gonna have a box, but yeah, I think it'd be cool. Showcase that extra stuff.
Yeah, man. Can't wait for that to happen.
Hell yeah, man.
I refuse to even shop on Black Friday. I'll just wait until after that or before. Yeah. I would never recommend going out on Black Friday for anybody. I've done that a few times looking for deals, and it's always been more of a hassle than it's worth.
Yep. I've only done it a couple times, and only once it actually, like, I was able to find, like, you know, I got like a couple movies like for like $2 or something, like brand new movies, Blu-rays. I'm like, all right, yeah, that was kind of worth it. But other than that, it's like, no, those high ticket items are ridiculous because these stores only have, like, if you're looking for a new TV or a new gaming system or some shit, they literally only have like maybe between 3 to 10 of those specific items, and they'll pretty much sell them as soon as the doors open up. So then, like, they just have you in the store, and you're gonna be forced to buy shit that you don't want to buy, or, you know, things of that nature. It's ridiculous. But
Nelson's got a nice little comment there for you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Dude, actually, somebody, there was this girl at a convention. She recreated that. I don't know how the fuck she did it. She made a cosplay of that character, and she needed like 3 people to walk around with her to help her set up the wings in order to do photo shoots. Because like her back was like the way that I designed it. Like there's metal contraptions that are kind of you put her peeled skin on, so it looks like almost like a demented angel, pretty much. So like the wings are essentially her back skin that was cut open and like you know, like flayed or something of that nature. And I don't know how she did it, but I was blown away when I saw it. She's like, "Holy, you're the guy who designed it?" I'm like, "Yeah." That was pretty cool. That's cool when you see your characters get recreated in real life by cosplayers and stuff like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them. They spend almost as much time doing the cosplay stuff as the people were designing the toys or the comics.
Yeah, hours worth of work. I don't know. She got every detail down. I don't know how the hell she did it. And she was walking around with the figure as well, in case people didn't know what it was. Like, what the hell is this from? You know?
That's awesome.
And that design kind of came out of me being fucking pissed at one of the sculptors. There was this like narcissistic asshole who never wanted to work with anyone. Like he thought whatever he designed is going to be gold. And he kind of had a loose idea of what he wanted to do. I'm like, that's not a tortured soul. Like it didn't nearly have enough like fucked up things on it. So like I talked to like the one of the owners of the art studio. I'm like, no, I said, this is wrong. And he looked at it, he's like, no, you're right. Yeah, that is wrong. I said, yeah, he's trying to do too beautiful of a character. Nope. This needs to be really demented. And just to piss him off, I'm like, how about we make her bald instead of having her with hair? And then like, what if we put like a buzzsaw through her head, like, you know, like a halo? And he was like, oh, that's perfect. Yeah, let's do that. So then we got to the sculptor. That guy was fuming. He's like, my design just changed. It's not your design, bitch. Because it wasn't his job to design it. That's why he was screwing up the whole thing. I'm like, no, it's not aligned with any of this stuff. So yeah, I fucked it up on purpose for him, and it ended up being like one of the most favorited figures out of any collector who were actually picking up that line.
Awesome. Yeah, Red, I completely agree. Buy online because you know what? 9 times out of 10, you can get better deals on Cyber Monday anyway.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, Red.
And don't ever go to a Walmart on Black Friday, or even if they have that Thursday one. Ugh. I made the mistake of going on a Thursday because we were doing Thanksgiving dinner and the wife forgot to pick up stuff. And I was like, why didn't you pick that up? I told you we need. I forgot. I got to go out to Walmart for this shit because they were the only ones open. And what a nightmare. Oh, what a nightmare. All these people waiting in line. Like, dude, I need to get by so I can get to the food. And they're looking at you like you're trying to steal their fucking puppy or something. Like you're trying to take their kid away from them.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you need to get out of my way. And they're like, just starting to stop. I'm like, dude, you either get out of my way or I'm going to run you over with this cart. And I'm not even going to look back. I'm not even playing with your stupid ass. Like, and then trying to get out of the store. Like, I'm just trying to get out of the store, and they got these lines running throughout the whole store. I'm like, can you get out of my way? And I'm like looking at you like, I just smashed right on their carts, knocked them all out of the way. I was like, fuck you people. And I said, go ahead, say a word. Say a word.
Oh, shit. Gotta love that. Holy crap.
Yes, exactly. Like a zombie horde. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I can't tolerate them. I have no patience for those people.
Nope. I'm with you, man. I went the last time I went to a Black Friday, I was visiting some family, and my cousin's like, yeah, like they knew one of the stores that had a very specific number of, like, I don't know, they were looking for a laptop, and like, yeah, this store's gonna have them because they had a friend who worked there and said, yeah, like, if you come between these hours, you have a small chance of picking it up. So I went. I'm like, this is Black Friday. Where they lived, there was like one line. Like the Best Buy was by itself. I'm like, this is nothing. Are you shitting me, dude? This looks like a regular, like if you go to the mall on a Sunday. Like, this ain't no line. I'm like, this is what you people are bitching about. Like over where I live, it's like everyone's like cars parked on top of one another. At this giant mall over here, it's like, no, you can't go into a store. It's ridiculous. Like they're parked up like on the medium, you know, all the grassy shit.
Well, in some of the strip malls, I seen the people were actually parking their cars like part way on the sidewalks next to the strip malls. Yeah. You know, where they got the little walkway in between all the buildings. Yeah, I seen some people were parking there. They gave no shits.
Nope. That's insane.
I can't. Nope. I can't. I don't have the patience for that kind of stupidity.
Who the fuck does? And like, how many new TVs do you need to buy? It's like every year, it's like, oh, this is a Black Friday sale. Okay, I got to get a bigger TV. What? Unless mine breaks, like I'm not looking for another. You know?
Exactly. I think I've had the same TV now for probably a good 6 years or better, at least. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I had to buy a new one is because the one we had in the other house got fried because there was a problem with the electric in the house. So every time it rained, it hit the wires and it would send shorts through the house and something would wind up getting burned out. So,
oh, dude, yeah, that's the worst. I mean, yeah, we live in the same state. I know what you're talking about.
Well, it was the pricks that actually they owned that. Well, not even the pricks that owned it. It was the people that were managing it for the prick who owned it. They refused to fix anything. So every time it rained, our lanai, we had a closed-in lanai and we had a pool. The rain would come down, hit the open wires where there used to be a light fixture that they just capped off.
Oh, damn.
They didn't even properly. They put the little cone caps on. So the water would hit right onto that line. It was still active, go through the house, screw something up. The people that wound up buying the house after we moved out because we were renting there, and we moved over to this house that we bought. Well, the people that wound up buying that house from those dicks, their stove caught on fire and burnt most of the kitchen and part of the living room and everything else down. I was like, I told the wife, I said, well, it wasn't us.
Maybe they should have capped it.
Should have done something with it, but yeah. People are bad enough the rest of the year. Do we really need a day dedicated to be more of a selfish asshole? Apparently.
Oh my God. Yeah, you nailed it, brother. Holy hell.
But I think this is probably a good place to wrap it up. I wanted to give you the floor to talk about your books and go ahead and promote your wonderful artwork.
Yeah. Well, before we do, like real quick too, like I don't think there's gonna be a Christmas this year, from what we hear. So,
oh no, the Fouch,
the Fouch, and Let's Go Brandon. Like they're like, yeah, everything is all locked up in these ports. There's no shipments getting anywhere. It's like, you know what you're gonna get for a Christmas gift is, if you could find it, toilet paper. So good luck, everyone. Every day is going to be like Black Friday, I think, coming up soon. But until then, you can definitely support and back my projects through the Woods, City of Venus, the art books. All that stuff ships immediately. Shadow of the Kraken. I'm still working on it, but you're going to be getting updates. I'm doing updates pretty much every month and letting you guys know like where the progress is on it. And, you know, I'm doing great on it. I am the sole creator. So, yeah, like I said, I'm just going to be a few months late. So I'm looking at the beginning of 2022 for Shadow of the Kraken. Like I said, I'm working on the last bunch of pages, and they are looking amazing. I'm taking my time because it's very pivotal. There's a lot of buildup in the book, and I'm onto the pages that are super crucial and what's going on with the story and how I'm going to end it. And I think you guys are going to be blown away. But yes, continue to support that. Thank you, everyone, too, for helping me hit 1K over on my YouTube channel. Right now, I'm in the process for the monetization stuff, so I'm waiting for approval on some stuff right now. But I am in the partnership program, so that's awesome. We just got to make sure all the legal stuff and you know, taxes and all that shit is filled out properly. So waiting on YouTube, but we are going to be streaming tomorrow. So Fridays and Sundays are usually when I do my streams. So come check all that stuff out. We jump around. Anything that's kind of going on in media, in entertainment, in toys, whatever it is, like we kind of jump everywhere. So yeah, it's usually a pretty crazy and fun time. So yeah, check out those streams if you could. You could also find me on Twitter and other social media at Vinny Art, the same way you see it on screen here. And yeah, man, thanks, Tommy. I think we had fun today.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to do this again next week. There might be for everybody watching, there might be a slight shift in the time schedule because we also have our good buddy, the Red Gaze, who streams on Thursdays as well. Somehow we kind of like missed which day he was streaming on. I don't know how, because it's constantly being said, and
yeah,
there's no excuses for it. But normally Red would be running. So
total brain farts is what we fucking had completely. You know, I've been working on fumes, working till 3 a.m, like every night. So apologies, Red. Yeah, well, we're gonna move a little bit. We'll switch it over a little. I think at least by a half hour. He's gonna go a little earlier. We'll go a little later, but somewhere around this ballpark. And yeah, I think we'll have a good time. And then like afterwards, obviously, like everyone could run over and say hi to Drew. Yeah,
make sure to stop by Drew Supreme Heretic for his Pegasus actual podcast. He talks about the new Battlestar Galactica and everything that they love about it. We need more streams like that where we're talking about the things that we love. And that's another reason why I do the retro stream on Monday. It's why me and Vinny got together to do this and talk about some of the things that we love instead of, you know, just doing the hate bashing, because it's easy to do the hate bashing thing. It seems like it's a lot harder for people to talk about the things that they actually enjoy. Because it seems like the joy has been sucked out of everything at this point.
And we got to bring it back. You're 100% right, bro. That's why we're doing this stuff. That's why we're showcasing, you know, again, different creators and things like that, new projects, because, yeah, we need replacements for what's going on. And like Tommy said, if there's stuff you like, yeah, collect what you like. Have fun.
And there's a lot of other independent creators you guys can go check out. Of course, you can check out the Red Gaze, Sunsworn, Wings of Vengeance, soon to be fulfilled. I believe he said he was moving into fulfillment on that one. I can't wait to see that one. I backed that one a little while ago.
Oh, yeah.
Nerium, of course, with Bonds. She's working on book 2.
Yep.
Awesome. And then, of course, we were talking about Chris earlier with Affinitales, also another good-looking book. I can't wait to get that one in hand.
That looks great. We got Carla with Witch Hunter. We also have Liam Gray with Wonder Island. That's an all-ages book that is looking absolutely amazing. I saw some more pages.
And that's already in fulfillment, or?
No, they're working on it right now, but the more stretch goals they unlock, the more great stuff you guys are going to get. I think they just unlocked the upgrade to 72 pages, which is amazing. You know,
awesome.
To get a book that's going to be 72 pages now for the same price. Hell yeah. So, yeah, definitely check out all that great stuff.
And if you keep paying attention to people on Twitter like Red Gaze and Vinyar and Nerium and Chris and all these other wonderful creators, you're going to see links to everybody else's work that's available out there. Get out there, support them. Even if you can't buy it yourself, just retweeting it out for them is going to get it more noticed so they can wind up reaching their goals so they could start working on the next awesome project to get to us, the fans, the people who want to see good entertainment again. This is the way to go, independent creators. So as this being the first time, and I don't actually have an outro for this show just yet, I think I'm going to take us out with the same intro that we started with. For those that may have missed it, I want to thank everybody that has come by today. Thank you so much for making this first stream absolutely amazing. And we will definitely be seeing you again next week. Until then, remember, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or should not watch, because your silence gives consent. Show them respect to the things that we love.